Because you love me. If only we could see the truth. If only we would live love. If only we would take him in the hearts. Then with his love we'd be true.
Proverbs 6, verse 16 to 19. These 6 things doth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, and a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Sins that God hates. It's a heavy topic, isn't it? The idea that there are things that we can do that are so detestable to the Almighty that they are labeled as sins he hates. But why does God hate these sins? I mean, is it because he's a vengeful God waiting to punish us for our wrongdoings? Or is it because he loves us so much that he wants us to live our lives in a way that brings us closer to him? I believe it's the latter. God hates these sins not because he wants to punish us, but because he knows the harm they can cause us. He knows that when we lie, cheat, steal, or hurt others, we're not living in alignment with his will for us. We're straying from the path he has set for us. A path of love, compassion, and forgiveness. God hates these sins because he knows that they can lead us down a dark and destructive path. They can damage our relationships, our reputations, and our souls. They can separate us from him and from the love and grace he offers. They can keep us trapped in a cycle of guilt, shame, and regret. But here's the thing. God's hatred of these sins is not meant to condemn us. It's meant to convict us. It's meant to show us where we have gone astray and give us the opportunity to turn back to him. It is meant to remind us that we are loved, forgiven, and redeemed no matter what we have done. So what are these sins that God hates? They are the sins of pride, greed, envy, lust, anger, gluttony, sloth. They are the sins that feed our egos, our desires, our jealousy, our rage, our appetites, and our laziness. They are the sins that keep us focused on ourselves and our own needs rather than on God and his will for us. But here's the good news. God's love is greater than our sins. His grace is more powerful than our mistakes. His mercy is more abundant than our failings. And no matter how far we have strayed, no matter how deep we have fallen, God is always there, ready to welcome us back into his loving embrace. So let's not be discouraged, by the sins that God hates. Let's not be weighed down by guilt, shame, or regret. Let's instead be inspired to turn back to God, to seek his forgiveness, and to live our lives in a way that honors him. Let's be inspired to love others, to love one another, those in need, and to forgive those who have wronged us. Let's be inspired to live with humility, generosity, contentment, purity, patience, temperance, and diligence. Let's be inspired to walk in the footsteps of Jesus Christ. Let's be inspired. Let's be inspired to be the best versions of ourselves, the people God created us to be. Right? So let's not be afraid of the sins that God hates. Let's not be overwhelmed by our own weaknesses and shortcomings. Let's instead be empowered by the love, grace, and mercy of God. Let's be inspired to live our lives in a way that brings us closer to Him, that reflects His goodness and light, and that spreads His love and joy to all those around us. Let's be inspired. It's not our sins that define us, it's our relationship with God, our love for Him, and our desire to follow Him. So let's choose love over hate, forgiveness over judgment, and grace over condemnation. Let's choose to walk in the light for God's love now and forever.
With His love, will it be true?